Jeremy and Joe, happy Tuesday. There's a fog warning out there, so be prepared for some dense fog, maybe if you're down by the water especially. And the warm-up is on the way, by the way. It's warm again. Everything's melting. There's going to be flood warnings. But above freezing pretty much every day for the next week. So that's good.
Yes.
Right?
The big melt this week.
Do you guys remember what the ground looks like?
I've started seeing these little green things that are poking out of the bottom of the snow.
We might see. I've seen the road.
Yeah.
Streets. Mm-hmm. They're still down there. All right, we're having a conversation about the Bills and their offseason because we've started the first movements in the NFL offseason. The Dolphins making a number of those big moves. Tyreek Hill cut, and they take the biggest hit they can on that, just terminating the contract so he can sign today if he wants to go back to the Chiefs, which, by the way, Chris Jones did tweet at him, it's time. Mm-hmm. So maybe he goes back to Kansas City. Bradley Chubb, they move on from him as well. A couple other pieces. The franchise tag window opens today. So last year it was only T. Martin, and there was one other. I had it. Who was it? It was a guard.
That was what? Released?
No. Only two guys franchise tagged.
Oh, Trey Smith?
Yes, the Chiefs guard.
Trey Smith. Yeah.
Trey Smith and T. Higgins were the only two guys franchise tagged last year. This year, the candidates include Alec Pierce, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Kyle Pitts.
And George Pickens is expected to be.
He is. But
Daniel Jones maybe a little bit also.
Okay.
I don't know. Does that make sense? Because that would give them the 1-year deal to allow him to get back and prove that he's not shot off a torn Achilles.
Yep.
But also that would cost them, like cap-wise, that would cost them a lot, right? Because if it's a 1-year deal, franchise tag, that all goes on your cap.
Yeah, full cap hit right there.
And that's like $40 million. Yeah. Like you'd rather pay him, I think, like a 3-year deal for $45 million because then you can move the money around.
Yeah, or do what the Giants did with Saquon Barkley that 1 year where they signed him for the franchise tag number plus $1 million, but made a right.
Yeah,
like you end up giving the same.
It out.
Yeah, exactly. The Colts have the 11th most cap space. Could they franchise tag Daniel Jones? I feel like it's unlikely that you go straight franchise tag. Adam Schefter also lists Trey Hendrickson here.
I mean, they would be. That guy would go into Cincinnati and he would just start throwing things around if they did that again. I think there was a wink agreement between the two. Like that's over. We're not franchise tagging anymore. He's been asking for a trade for like 3 years in Cincinnati, and he's finally about to get out. So I think they probably will let him go. I think Pitts is the most likely to be tagged after Pickens, just because the tight end number isn't very high.
It's a low number. They can still trade him, right? The Bills franchise tagged Peerless Price and traded him on that franchise tag.
All right.
The other players...
They did it with Jarris Byrd.
Right.
They just kept him. I think he just played on it, right? They didn't trade him or anything.
Right.
I don't know that I ever remember them doing it with anybody else. Ever. Byrd, and then I didn't even remember Price. I don't know if there was anyone ever in between that. I don't think there's anyone since then.
John Fina in 1996, Peerless Price in 2003. Nate Clements got the franchise tag.
Yeah. I mean, the Bills just, the way they operate with contracts, they never really get near it being a discussion, right? Like if they had not paid James Cook last offseason, and he went out and had the season he did and led the league in rushing,
they might have a franchise
tag.
Then
we'd be talking about the franchise tag with James Cook. But they pay guys ahead of time so often that, again, you never touch it. You never get near the conversation. I mean, maybe, did we do it with, no, we wouldn't have done it with Tremaine Edmonds because of the linebacker dumbness of, like, edge rushers being included.
Right.
Like, he would have been the guy to talk about, but the position doesn't work out that way. Maybe Kincaid will be this. Will Kincaid get to a place where he's a tag candidate? Because he's really good, but if he can't stay healthy and they don't want to commit to him long term.
He's already got 5th-year option. Like, he's so far from that. The name I'm thinking about for, like, if we're to have a draft about next Bills player to be franchise tagged, isn't Osiris Torrance at the top of the list. He's about to enter the final year of a deal.
Yeah.
And if he plays well and you don't know, you want to discuss things, like, Torrance would be it.
So the thing about linemen is they group all offensive linemen together.
So guard is a big number because of tackles?
It would be guard's gone up too, right? Like the top guys are making 20, 21 million. But yeah, if you wanted to tag Torrance in a year, I mean, this year it would cost you $27.9 million.
Not doing it? Okay.
And next year it's probably higher.
I remove my comment
so
that
it won't
he's
be
potentially, yeah.
I mean, the numbers are high. Like, really, you only ever probably want to do it for tight end, running back, receivers, $28 million. That's probably it. And that's probably it. Like, there maybe defensive end at $27 million. Like, there's only a couple of positions where I think you would ever really consider it. So, I don't know. Like, is there a guy that is on the verge of becoming that? Again, maybe Kincaid 2 years from now, if he continues to play well and continues to have injury problems. I don't see anybody else that's like tracking towards the guy that's worth that amount of money, right? And also, again, part of their prerogative is we're going to pay guys, we're going to draft we're going to draft these guys, we're going to develop them. They're usually going to be pretty good and not great, and then they're going to sign them to middle of the road contracts. And unless they change their ways on that, like where there be an ideology change of we have been doing that, but we realize now we have, what'd you have last night? The fewest resources in the league this offseason?
Yeah, let me lay that out again for everybody. So mention that if you rank teams 1 to 32 on cap space and 1 to 32 on draft capital and just take the average of those rankings, the Bills are last.
Right.
They are last in the NFL in assets to use this offseason.
So basically, what would the odds be then to get to a place where the tag becomes more possible, where Brandon Beane and the Bills have this come to Jesus moment and say, well, because we are constantly signing middle-of-the-road guys, we have no space to do anything, so if we draft a guy and he's only pretty good, we're not paying him. We're going to be doing that differently going forward. I haven't heard them say anything that makes me think that's going to happen. But maybe they're tired of not having any space.
803-0550 to join us, and 1-888-550-2550. Have a Twitter pull up about the Dolphins, because I think their offseason is about to be very interesting, and teams are going to kind of jump on them for what they can get maybe this year in exchange for next year. Miami cutting Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb. They'll latch on somewhere. We can have conversations about both. I think we're both a no on Hill. Yeah. And I'm a no thanks on Chubb. I mean, Chubb would be flyer of flyers below Joey Bosa level for me in terms of what he might add. His injuries have added up in a very big way, and I think it's affected his game. So not too interested in Chubb. If they did it, I would not consider it a big move. It would be one of those, 1-year mercenary moves that maybe could work, but I'd be worried. Mm-hmm. I'd be worried about it as any sort of like feature move. But anyway, for Miami, put a Twitter poll up, which is, if you're going to deal with Miami and let's say you give them a call, hey, about that Jalen Waddle for our 2027 first, what's a better use for the Bills? Is it Waddle for the 2027 first? Or is it, what if we gave you their 2027 first to move up to 11? Because I think Miami should be all about that. Next year's quarterback class, flush. This year's quarterback class, a wasteland at number 11. You don't want to do it. And if they're going to rebuild and they're going to finish at the bottom and they get a new GM coach and they're going to do this thing the right way, they should pick a quarterback next year. And if they're going to do that, they're going to compete with the Jets, who have 3 firsts. They need firsts. They should trade down. I would rather trade the Bills' first rounder in 2027 to get up to 11. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you can do what you want with it. I'll tell you what I would do with it, too. I think that moving up is a better idea, and I know that tons of NFL smart people I like say never trade up. And to them I say, in the great words of Howard, don't care. I would do it. So we'll take your calls on that if you want. It's about 50-50, the Twitter poll.
Okay.
About 50-50. With 52% trade for Waddle, 47% trade up.
Yeah.
I would move up. I would do whatever it takes to get the stud receiver on a rookie contract. Of course, they could just take one at 26, and that would be great, too. Edge rusher is also... You want to go up to 11 for Reuben Beane? Like, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to saying 30 isn't getting the job done. So 26 is not getting the job done. So let's go. We got to win.
Waddle's cap hit this year, by the way, is $11 million.
That's totally fine.
Next year, it's $33 million.
Okay.
And I guess you could move that around if you really wanted to.
And you know how much the 11th overall pick will be paid? Is it like a total of $33 million over 4 years?
It might be less than that.
It might be less.
It might be less than that, honestly. Yeah.
And
is he so good? I mean, he's good. But is he so good that he dramatically increases your chances this year?
Well,
because to me, you're in a little bit of a different place than when you traded for Diggs, and you were eliminating the risk of, well, I need a guy right now, and I don't want to have to take any percentage chance that the rookie I draft isn't going to be somebody that can produce with Josh. So let me go get Diggs, who I know is great. Waddle, I think we know he's really good.
He's very good. He
has some injury problems, and he's 28 years old. And I don't think he has an ascendance in him. I don't know. Does he have the Diggs ascension in him? I think my instinct says no, he doesn't. Going from what he was in Minnesota, which was really good, to, he's one of the best receivers in football.
Well, that was easy to see because in the numbers you could see when Diggs was on the field and they threw him the ball, he was amazing. He just didn't get the ball enough. Like that was very he had 90 targets in Minnesota.
Well, isn't there some of that with Waddle? Where like his targets were really down because of Hill.
He's been buried by Tyreek Hill and an offense that has Tua. Everything has to be on schedule. Everything has to be an anticipation throw.
Like he's only missed, I guess injury wise, it's funny. He has his rep, but his games played per year, 16, 17, 14, 15, 16. He's never really missed a lot of time. Maybe he plays through it. The last 2 years, playing 31 games, he has 183 targets.
No. It's
like
enough.
90 targets a year.
That's not enough.
That's not a lot for him.
That's like, what'd you say? 183?
183 over 2 full seasons.
Yeah. That's not enough.
No, he should be a guy that's getting 130, 140 in a single year.
If I could ask it one different way, I would say this. Like, all right, if you could, like, you trade the 2020, Jalen Waddle's just on your team. Let's not even trade anything, right? The Bills have a Jalen Waddle player. And I'm going to give you the power to move space and time. Let's have a fun science experience.
Okay.
Right? Ready? What would you pay? What would you pay to take 5 years off his career and get him on a rookie contract? What would you pay in draft capital if you could make that trade? Let's say you're the Vikings. Like, all right, this is a simulation. If you want to take Jefferson, just rewind 5 years off his tires and get him on a rookie contract. What would that be worth? Is that worth a first? Holy cow, yes.
Yes, it's worth a first.
It's definitely worth a first. To do that, to go back in time and to save $130 million of cash and all that cap space, I think that the very, very smart, that I respect community of analytics and all the draft stuff that says never trade up, does not accurately factor in the value you actually get once you get the player at quarterback, edge, whatever. Quarterback, they do respect it. It's okay to trade up for a quarterback. Edge and receiver need to be in the conversation. It's okay to do it because the value you get, you will lose a draft pick. If you trade up for the receiver for the Bills or the edge rusher, you will lose draft capital. But you will have so much money to sign players because you made that move. With the $15 to $20 million cap hit that I've saved, what can I add? 3 players? How much different are they than a pick that's 27th overall that I also don't know how good that player is going to be? So I am about trading up, and I am not scared off by the idea.
Receivers that have gone in that territory, that range, where we be talking about going to 11, where Miami picks. I mean, you're talking Rome Odunze went 9th.
CeeDee Lamb.
A couple of years ago. You're talking about, before that, Garrett Wilson goes 10, Chris Olave 11, Jamison Williams 12.
Find a more perfect number. Like,
it's good. Devonta Smith goes 10.
I would take every one of these players.
Henry Ruggs 12. Lamb went 17th. A little lower. Jerry Jeudy 15th that same year. Like, almost always the guy in that territory is at least pretty good. Like, you don't have many busts in that territory unless I go way back and find, like, John Ross at number 9.
Right.
And that's almost a decade
Even
ago.
John Ross, I feel
ago.
like he got hurt.
Yeah, he had injury problems.
Frank in Orchard Park is up. Frank, good morning.
Good morning. So Hey, I'm all about getting a number one wide receiver and everything, but I sure don't want to give up a whole bunch of draft capital, especially for, Evans or Waddle. I mean, like you guys were talking, they are a little injury prone there. We just, we were number 4 or number 5 in offense last year. We got to solidify that offensive line. Josh Allen was sacked over 40 times last year. We can't stop the run. The main thing we got to do is stop the run. If we could have been in the middle of the pack of stopping the run, we would have had a whole different outcome of last year. So I think our number one priority is we need a stud at nose tackle. And that's what I want to see, and I'd rather just pick up a wide receiver maybe in free agency instead of giving up a whole bunch of draft capital because and hope to God that we can do a better job in free agency because we probably were one of the worst teams out there over the last couple of years in free agency.
Thanks, Frank. They definitely need a bunch of stuff. And, if they were to trade up to 11 and take a nose tackle like you want, I would still say, they can get good receivers somewhere and vice versa. I don't think that it has to, one move has to supersede the others, especially if I'm trading my 2027 first to do it. I can have my full offseason as planned. It's one thing the Bills were able to do when they traded for Josh Allen. What'd they do? They moved up, and they did not get rid of they had 2 firsts that year. It's one of the best things Beane ever did. He still kept that first. He moved his way up, moved out Cordy Glenn, former franchise tag of the Bills, by the way. They franchise tagged him in 2016.
They did?
They did. They franchise tagged him. He's on the list.
I thought Bird was the last one. Okay,
no,
right.
No.
Yeah.
All
right.
So you could still have your
they kept They also moved up a second time because I think they had the first and moved up for Edmonds.
That's right.
Maybe that was only a couple spots though.
Right. Same with Allen. They moved up a couple spots. But if I'm trading my 2027 first, you can have your full offseason. Go for it. And also, on stopping the run, I have no doubt they'll be differently committed and probably better at stopping the run with the Jim Leonard defense. We'll see if the Jim Leonard defense overall is better. They're going to need a lot of pieces. They're probably going to bring a lot of pieces in. Stopping the run has still never beaten them in a playoff game. And
no, it hasn't.
Their offensive rankings, I don't care. I don't care where they're ranked. It doesn't matter. Are they good enough in a playoff game when they need to be to win? And I don't want Josh Allen's career to end and it to be where we say 12 straight years ranked top 3 in scoring. Don't care. You got to be able to win these games in the biggest moments with the best players, have the best players. Sometimes that's having the best defense. Sometimes that's, putting it all together like Seattle did. Sometimes it's Travis Kelce is unstoppable or Gronk or whoever it is. The Seahawks are not in the Super Bowl without JSN. Period. They're not there. So, and you could say that about a lot of players on that team probably, but I don't care where they rank in scoring, and I won't care this year either. I'll care if they have a guy that can get open when they need to on the play. They have an important play to call. Who's it going to? Does the guy get open? I feel like if they had that guy, they would have gotten farther the last couple of years. And they would not have gotten farther if they were better at stopping the run. Stopping the run never hurt them against the Chiefs. Not once. No. They lost 4 playoff games to the Chiefs, and not being able to stop the run never hurt them.
Didn't hurt against Denver either.
Not being able to stop the pass hurt them. And the defensive scheme might have hurt them.
Cordy Glenn, by the way, was tagged, but then he signed before the season.
All right.
So he never really played a game on the tag. But I guess he counts towards this.
But to your point about Mike Evans or did you mention Hill?
Waddle was the other one you mentioned.
I would say
which are different because Waddle you got to trade for. Evans,
that's
if
right.
he makes it, would be a free agent.
Every idea, and as we get to this, every idea comes with a but, right?
Yeah, there's no perfect idea. Even the rookie is, but what if I do draft the next, again, if I go further down the list, Corey Coleman was a receiver 10 years ago that went in that range. What if I draft the next Corey Coleman at that range? That's the but. I don't think your odds are very high of that. And I would say your odds aren't very high maybe with some of these, a lot of these buts, right? If you trade for... But this is kind of why I like the trade up idea too, though, is I think your but on the trade up idea isn't as likely as I trade for Mike Evans and he hit the wall. Oops, He's 34, and it just happened. And maybe I trade for Waddle, and I have $30 million invested. That's my but. Like, it's already there, right? And I have to wonder if he's going to be injured. And I guess that exists for anybody. But I don't really think any of it's different. It is different. It's just not, you're not getting a perfect idea unless you get Justin Jefferson.
Well, you kind of laid out exactly how I feel about it. Like, they all have the buts. And if the but is, what if he's a bust? Like, I know that there are still busts. They exist at quarterback for sure.
Or not even bust, but like a guy that's, like, what if the guy was Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Right. Is he a bust?
Is that going to feel like a mistake? If you go all the way up and you get a guy that's supposed to be amazing and then he turns into Marvin Harrison Jr., which, again, jury's out on him. But through 2 years, it's, all right, this guy's good.
Right.
But I wouldn't go further than that right now.
It's not giving you what you want. Like, if it was instead for Neighbors, like, you'd say,
if it's for Neighbors, then if I'm getting Neighbors out of that trade,
right,
then
if it's a Dunze, it's a done deal.
Right.
I mean, you don't even really have to do it. If you could just take a guy at 26, if you want, I'll listen to that. If you want to make it about defensive end, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it anywhere for a great player. The point for me is, like, if I'm worried about a bust at 11th, I'm not that worried about it. And I'm in win now mode. I'm in, get a little desperate.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes, like, desperation is sold as bad. Whatever. It comes down to falling in love with players, which can happen. But if they were to move up for Carnell Tate to 11 because he fell to 11, I'm worried about him being a bust.
Him and Jordan Tyson are the only receivers worth this, right?
That's what most seem to say.
Yeah.
Jeremy and Joe, we're on WGR. We're streaming at 107.7 and 104.7 FM as well. You can join us there. We're dreaming big. We're calling Miami because they should be trading out of the 11 spot. Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, some ideas. Paul Hamilton checks in next as the knockout stage of the Olympic tournament on the men's side is underway. We'll talk with Paul on the other side. 803-0550 for you to join us here on WGR.